So all of the work that we do here is really to dispel the illusion of this virtual world, this matrix that we seem to believe is more real than anything. And yet, when we can slip outside of it every day and upgrade our experience by interacting with energy and information and teach the brain how to be more suggestible, the science of that formula that we talk about and combining brain coherence and heart coherence is you being hooked up to a field of information. And I think that if we can surrender the identity that we take on in the VR headset, the character that we chose to be, if we could lay that character down for a certain portion of our day, to know that we can come back to the illusion of that day and we can begin to interact with the reality outside the headset and create new experiences in the VR headset that you would actually create and program from outside of the headset, then it would become way more advantageous to be able to do that on a daily basis, and we would be rewriting the future of our experience. Then in time, if we were able to heal another person with energy instead of with chemistry or mechanically altering their body, but we could do it by creating more coherent energy, then somehow that would look miraculous to people who believed only in the illusion of the three-dimensional reality. If you were to program something in from outside the headset of some future experience that would be mystical and put that in the program and keep going back into the program every day and stepping out of the program and keep rewriting it, in time it would make sense your experience of the three-dimensional reality would finally be programmed in there for you to have that experience if you could stay present and not respond and react back into the illusion of survival. And I think that's what we're doing as a community. I can tell you just in the research calls that I've had over the last 2 weeks, there is this silly grin that all of us seem to have when we're looking at some of the data that to very empirical scientists are now believers in this field. They talk about it like they're talking about anything else. We are making such a great impression in the world right now, and our community of people that do this work and can lay down the character for a period of time and take their energy and attention out of this virtual world of separation and strive to remember that they are oneness and to connect with it and put their attention on it and surrender into it. When I say become more of it and less of the identity that we are, to lose our sense of separation, our sense of the known for the experience of the unknown outside the VR headset. There's got to be something else besides this. And what's creating all of this, that unifying field that we can experience with our consciousness? I think that people who really venture to be creators on a daily basis, yeah, some days are easier than others, I can tell you that, but the act of remembering that we are creators, the act of taking time out of our busy day to evolve our experience of the virtual world, I think our community has done such an amazing job in doing that. And the side effect of that is really profound healings, upgrades to the character, profound experiences that they've programmed into their mind that now they have the circuitry in their brain to perceive. They're observing that reality into reality because they're laying down the circuitries and experiencing the emotions that are changing the body genetically. And yeah, the evidence isn't there yet, but we show up every day and we do that until it finally appears. And people have created all kinds of things, from new careers to abundance to opportunities and great experiences in their life in places that they thought were only in their mind movie, but they stepped into that movie because they programmed it. And they're in a whole new time, the time of being in the same character that's working diligently to get to the next level and to break through and to compete and to fight and do whatever that is, part of the program into the headset. They experience a whole new future that's different than that. And they change the character in order to make a better choice. And they change the character in the way it behaves, in the way it thinks, in the way it reacts and emotionally feels. I think they become a different character, or evolve the character from outside the headset. And I think our community has done an amazing job in doing that. So when you go and do your meditation, if you're doing meditations, think about the matrix here, the illusion of the experience of separation in this three-dimensional reality, and try to imagine what it would be like, that dimension, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and many worlds, many, many universes that exist besides this one. I guess the only way we could ever get there would be to become aware of them. So practice seeing this world in terms of virtual reality experience and let your mind go with it a little bit. And so a change in energy is a result of a change in our awareness once again, and there'll be more energy in the brain. And if your senses are heightened in an inward experience and you're feeling profound something, your awareness of something other than what you normally are aware of is changing too, and that's the change in energy. So the heart and the brain do this a lot of times, and if that occurs, I would suggest that you go all in and surrender all the way and let it do whatever it does. That's the best advice that I could give anyone. And just don't be afraid, because sometimes it's a big unknown. Now, there's a diversion that takes place that I can speak to, because I think this happens to a lot of people, and it has happened to me. Then I have to divide my meditations. So if I want to do my meditations on creating whatever it is that I'm creating in my life, then I tend to be more structured in my mornings, because I want to be able to direct my intention and begin to become the very person that I'm imagining is in that world. And remember how I think, how I act, and how I'm going to feel, and stay in that world until the virtual world changes, right? That's the challenge. And I'll work on that in my morning meditations. But in my evening meditations, I'm way more playful. I'm way more loose, way more curious and experimental. If I go and do a walking meditation in the evening and I come back and I got a lot of energy in my brain, I'm not going to eat a lot. I'm going to use it. I'm just going to have a little something to eat. I'm going to get going. If I want the mystical and I got a lot of energy in my brain and I know what that feels like, well, I'm going to direct all that energy towards my pineal gland, but I'm going to be curious. Wow, I felt this energy in my heart and I felt it in my brain. I'm going to see if I can bring that back up again. And you don't need one of my meditations to do this. Just play some cool music and just flirt a little bit between worlds and open up. And just try to remember what it feels like so you can feel it with your eyes open as well as your eyes closed. And then lose your connection and see if you can bring it up again. And keep seeing if you can bring it up again over and over again. So now you're practicing bringing it up on command, and keep remembering and let it evolve into whatever it evolves into. And then lay your body down and be open. And if you don't want to go to sleep so fast, change the way you breathe. Take some really big inhales and exhales and oxygenate your brain and change your carbon dioxide levels and relax and be open. And, I do that just because I'm curious. Could I just slip out of this world into the other one if I practice doing this? And so my mornings tend to be more structured towards doing something that's more intentional and working on overcoming myself, because if I can overcome myself at the beginning of the day, the rest of the day is easy. I can overcome anybody. In the evenings, I'm more curious, I'm more experimental, I'm more kind of in my own little project, in my own little exploration of self-discovery. And so if you have the opportunity to play in the evenings and you want to venture outside of it, then do something a little bit more playful and evolve that experience between your heart and your brain and see where it takes you.